Another edition of the Kitchen Party Podcast.
Yeah, we are back for our weekly our podcast, our fourth or fifth one now in a row here, Jimmy. I think no one has kicked us offline yet, so that's good.
Yep.
They just haven't figured us out yet. So,
All right. So I'm Jimmy Sheehan, and my partner here. Introduce yourself.
Mark Owens. Yeah.
And our special guest today.
Hey, I'm Sean Gormley. How's it going?
Going good, Sean. Thanks for joining us. For those that don't know Sean is obviously a very popular folk in Cleveland with his the barber shop and the bar and everything. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But thanks for making time tonight, Sean, to join us. I know you're munching on some pizza there. We didn't want to take away from your pizza time. So.
Yeah, we got a little pizza party with the kids. And
very good. Good stuff. Well, good stuff. That. Well, great. Well, how are things going with you? Good?
Yeah, thankfully, things have been trying to get back to some time of normalcy, back to the barbershop 2 weeks. And the pub's been open for a couple of weeks now with limited numbers coming in, but definitely looking to get back to
normality.
At least people are starting to look a little more normal with haircuts finally. So.
The new normal. I bet you were busy when you first opened the barbershop back up.
Yeah, because we just switched to going by appointment only, and we were booked solid for 6 days a week, the first 2 weeks, and yeah, no break.
Is that kind of the new rule now? You have to do appointment only? Just easier?
Yeah, it's recommended by the state. That way it limits people from waiting.
Right, exposure.
Waiting rooms. So it helps. And especially with the older customers, they feel more relaxed. They know when they're getting in and getting out and not have to wait around. So
for those of you who are tuning in and don't know, Sean's place is the Irish Barber on Center Ridge. What's the address there?
19512 Center Ridge Road, Rocky River.
And how can they contact you? You got a contact number?
Yeah, you go to my website, theirishbarber.com. Again, it's theirishbarber.com. You get in there, and all the information about making an appointment for the shop is all in the website.
Very good. Very good. So, how long was your barbershop shut down now?
A solid 2 months. We got the phone call from the state on a Wednesday, and we closed that evening on March 18th, and then we opened up again on May 15th. So it was a lot of people were panicked, and there was a lot of people that were ready for a haircut that week.
Yeah.
Procrastinated. So there's definitely some sights of hair coming in for the people that waited, and even for the people that didn't cut it themselves. So it's.
So on that note, how many people come in that really, really screwed up their hair during COVID, or their wives did?
Actually, surprisingly, it was a very small number because a lot of people realize that it's not as easy as it looks, as far as their mom or the wife just pulling out a pair of clippers and, oh, I can do that. And actually, a lot of the men and kids realized that they would just rather wait rather than get
the wife do it.
So.
Yeah,
there has been a few fix-up jobs that were pretty bad, but surprisingly, a lot of people waited. So it was nice to feel that needed, where everybody would rather look scruffy than anybody else cut it. So it was,
you almost should have charged. You should have charged double for the double the work now. You know.
Prices did go up, and actually everybody was great. Everybody was very generous, and because I knew 2 months revenue, and so, but everybody's been very supportive. So
people are tipping a lot more in every service industry across the board, just because they realize you guys have been put out for a couple of months and you lost that income to take care of your family and pay your bills. So a lot of people that have it are tipping very generously.
Yeah, they really are, and we're very thankful to have such a great clientele and such great support. So everybody's been wonderful.
That's great. That's good to see. That's you've got such a loyal following there too, the barbershop, and even with social media and stuff. And it's great to see everyone getting back to normal, somewhat normal, I guess. Not the same normal we had 3 months ago, but it's getting there.
Yeah, no, everybody's very much more appreciative, and like you said, very loyal, and it's good to see.
So I was wondering, who cuts your hair? You don't cut your own hair, do you?
Actually, I do. So it's something that it took quite a while to learn, because you kind of got to trick yourself in the mirror. You just can't stand and look at it. You got to.
It's got to be opposites.
Yep. And but if I'm busy or I don't have time, I'll jump in one of the other guys' chair. But most of the time, I do it myself.
Very good. So it's
I've
your
been
fault.
cutting my own hair since 1997. So
I'd ask for your money back.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
So,
Looking at yours, I wouldn't say too much right now.
it's pretty easy.
yeah, I don't know. There's a little hair out of place there, Jimmy. So
There's no hair there.
I just wondered, just to kind of, for those that don't know Sean, a lot of us do, and a lot of people in the Irish community know Sean very well. Let's maybe take a step back, maybe back to the, and I know some of the background, obviously how you got here and stuff to America, but maybe, we've had great stories this past few weeks from different people, why they came to Cleveland, how they got here, and maybe give us a little background, Sean, how you first got here through it was holiday projects and stuff, and kind of go from there a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, it's through the Ancient Order of Hibernians, which is obviously a great Irish Catholic organization back home and here. Growing up during the Troubles, they wanted to give kids a chance of outside of war zones, and they formed this program called Project Children. And they went into the Catholic and Protestant neighborhoods of where we're from. And
now, for those who don't know, he's from Derry, like Marcus, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So what had happened is my high school teacher asked me if it was something I'd be interested in. 12 years old, got to come over and stay with a family in upstate New York. It was for 6 weeks, and it was such a great experience. Not knowing what to expect, but I was pretty excited because, as much as it rained back home, it was nice. And from what I seen on TV was what America looked like and everything else, I was very excited. So knowing now that I got kids of that age myself, I can't see shipping them off to another country with people I've never met at such a young age for 6 weeks. But it was such a great experience through Project Children and the Hibernians. And I got to come over for 5 different summers. So it was definitely eye-opening. And I always knew that I wanted to come and live in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked towards what it is I had to do and what I needed to do as far as being able to work over here. So I started as an apprentice in Derry when I was 15, working in a barber shop, cutting hair, and immigrated when I was 19. I went back to upstate New York because I knew everybody there, and that was in the May of '93.
I mean, Project Children I was reading earlier, they've brought over nearly 25,000 children in Northern Ireland have been brought over since, I think it's 1975 it started. Have been brought over to America through, I forget the guy that started it. It was a New York cop, I think, who immigrated from Cork. That started the whole program originally, I think. And but just the opportunity it's given the number of people I talked to over the years that, like Sean, came out here on Project Children. They would go away for the summer. They would come back in August. And I'd always look to see, I had a good friend, I think it was Alan Healy was his name, you might know him from Top of the Hill as well. I remember the first time he came back with a skateboard. We had never seen a skateboard before. And he came back to Derry with this it was a Bart Simpson skateboard, I'll never forget. And we were just amazed, like, where'd you get this? And I got this in America.
Yeah.
We were just blown away. We'd never seen a skateboard before, but just, funny stories you hear from that program.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 12 up there, the family I stayed with, their son was 6 months younger than me, and he was into skateboarding. And so I learned how to do that wasn't able to bring any over, but yeah, that was a whole new experience and culture and everything, and I just adapted to it right away. It was great, and so that's when I immigrated in '93. I stayed there in that area because I knew everybody and got a job working in a mall, the barber shop, and then I heard about Ohio. My mother called me and said, "Oh, your cousin is going over to Cleveland for the summer to work." And I never heard of Cleveland. And so I hadn't seen him in a few years. So I made my way down here to see him. And he introduced me to, turns out to be my second cousin. And I was only supposed to stay a couple of days. I ended up staying a week. Went down to the flats, down to Fagan's and Shooters.
Oh, you're going old school now.
Oh, yeah.
Fido's? Was Fido's there then?
No. It was still the old flats back then.
Okay.
The basement and
Beach club.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I ended up staying a week, having a great time, and then that following summer, which was the summer of '95, I moved to the west. I moved to Lakewood and Rocky River, and I've been here since.
Very good.
Good for you.
And being a barber, right? Were you a barber in Derry first before you came out, or was that something you picked up here first?
Yeah, like I said there, I started the apprentice in a little barbershop called Lanson's.
Oh, Mickey?
No, this was up in Fergie Street.
Oh, okay.
You had to go downstairs. It was across from the open oven, right there at the top of Fergie, the top of Carlisle Road, going into Fergie Street. Right across the street, there was a little barbershop. You had to go downstairs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I started off in there, and then worked my way over to the water site over at Woodburn. Yeah.
So then you don't know why we're laughing. Woodburn wouldn't exactly be a place back then that you wouldn't venture into too much, right, Sean? Fair to say.
Yeah, actually, it was a little shop. There was more. It was more of a barber and beauty shop where.
Was it by Frank Long's? No.
Yeah.
Right next door. Oh, okay. Very good.
That little plaza.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the majority of all the staff were Catholic, and there was maybe 2 or 3 Protestant girls, but that whole area, everybody got along just fine.
Yeah.
But
well, Frank Long's was always a common place for everyone to go and shop, you know. So
well, getting off the bus and walking up there were dodgy some mornings because you know, if they ever found out I was Catholic, walking up through some of those streets right next to Irish Street there. So
yeah, Irish Street right across the street from it. So
yeah.
Ironically, Jimmy, Irish Street is a neighborhood that would be predominantly Protestant now, but it's called Irish. My father was actually born over there back in obviously the 50s, when it was a very mixed area. Now it's very predominantly Protestant area, but it's just ironic it's called Irish Street. And the curbstones are all red, white, and blue.
Really? And now is there still that Catholic Protestant prejudice over there today? I mean, you've been back home recently, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, is it as bad as it was when we all lived there? No. But does it have its moments? Absolutely. There's still, there's tension there. But things have got way, way better in Derry, just with a lot of the cross-community stuff. But there's always going to be that element.
But I think that their mindset is they segregate themselves. They don't want to be along with the regular populace of the town and mix in and everybody just live together. They keep their own neighborhoods and they don't want to acclimate with anybody else or any other cultures or anything. They want to stick to what, but it's hopefully dying out, that mentality.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But Jimmy, Sean and I were joking the other day. I say joking I don't mean it this way, but this past weekend in Cleveland, obviously there was a lot of there was peaceful protests turned nasty, right? We think back to the days living in Derry and stuff, and people talking about rubber bullets and stuff coming in to calm the protesters down. And Sean and I were kind of thinking back to the days where that was reality. That was every weekend. You know what I mean? And
right.
There's nothing good about it. Nothing ever good comes from that kind of a riot. If you're seeing rubber bullets and stuff being brought in, it's just they're not.
Right. That you think that would just harden people's it's not bringing people together. It's making that separation. And
It'll
it's
piss you
making,
off more.
yeah,
you
it's
know?
making hard feelings between people.
Yeah. I mean, and Sean, I'm sure you've seen rubber bullets in your time. And I was explaining to someone the other day what a rubber bullet looked like and how they were supposed to bounce off the ground. That was the whole purpose. Sometimes they didn't bounce first; they went first.
Well, I just seen a picture of the rubber bullets they have over here. They look more like a door stopper, where the ones that they used up around Gobna Scale
Were big.
yeah, they were about 6 to 8 inches long and about, I get a good couple inches diameter, and
Yeah, they were an inch and a half thick.
That's a pretty big projectile to get hit with if it didn't bounce off the ground first. I mean,
well,
that would
there's
knock you off
quite a
your
few
feet.
deaths, but no, the British never aimed at the ground. They aimed them right at you at your midsection.
Right.
That was their policy. They used a lot of those tactics. We were the guinea pigs, going from the early 80s to the late 90s. Those were used commonly.
Wow.
But it was nothing to go out and see, the army coming up and, the petrol bombs going or you call them Molotov cocktails over here.
Molotov cocktails, whatever that means. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So they would throw them at the army, and then the army would shoot rubber bullets back.
Yeah, well, depending, how it escalated, but they would bring the Saracens or the tanks up the hill, set the fires, but then they would use that to disperse, depending on how large the crowd was. But a lot of the time, you would hear about them being fired at us.
Wow. I couldn't imagine growing up in an environment.
That was normal on the weekends. I mean, that was to think back and think that was a normal weekend sometimes.
Yeah.
There's nothing normal about it,
No, there is nothing normal about that.
So
well, I mean, you're getting all the teenagers, and everybody would be collecting them. How many did you get? It'd be like a thing. Hey, I've got a couple of rubber bullets that was fired at the crowd or whatever. It was,
right.
I was working in the factory one Monday morning, and a guy came in, and he was all proud. He pulled up his shirt to show me his war wounds from the weekend. He got hit by a rubber bullet, and his chest was just pure black and blue just from the bullet hitting him. And luckily that bounced off the ground first. But it was like a badge of honor for this guy, and but he was hurt. He couldn't work all week. He was useless to anyone. So, but,
wow.
The damage they caused, as Sean said, there's been people losing eyesight. There's been deaths attributed to it, and so.
All because of your religion. I mean, that's just as crazy as the stuff we got going on here now.
Well, there's obviously all different forms of racism and segregation and intimidation, and it's all how it was used over the years. And like say, we grew up in a system where, like I say, we were the guinea pigs, and our parents and grandparents before us. But we grew up in that mindset, so I can definitely understand the mindset and the brutality of you get stopped and searched in a certain area because your name is Sean. Obviously you're Catholic, so they're going to search you, intimidate you more, or harass you. That was just literally a common thing every day, walking through the.
So you just had to put up with it, right? I mean, is that
yeah, you couldn't really say too much because back then if you're out they could hold you for 3 days and interrogate you, so it was best to keep your mouth shut depending where you were, but that was very common.
Wow, I couldn't imagine.
Different worlds,
Yeah.
But it's just sad to see, I don't know, the picture I have behind me tonight is it's a statue in Derry called it's Hands Across the Divide. It was created, I think, 20 years ago to kind of signify the peace process and reaching out. Derry significantly is bordered by it. There's a river in the middle that kind of separates technically one community from another, although there's it's not really that way, but especially maybe the parts when I grew up and beyond the waterside area. So the statue is kind of built to signify that, and it's just ironic this week seeing all the unrest that's going on, and just the prejudice that's out there right now, and there's so many ways of looking at it. From you don't know where to start with that. We all have great friends that are police officers. They got to deal with it still. There's some great police officers out there.
There's a lot more good than bad.
Absolutely. And I feel for them a lot too with, they're right in the brunt of it right now. And again, not taking away from anything else, but I worry sometimes that, a lot are tarnished by the same brush because of their actions of some of their peers. And, it's,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
so it's
But the
a whole
demonstration,
situation.
Commander Fay, you probably remember him from the bar.
Great picture.
Yeah, he wasn't a commander back then in the old days with the first bar, but he's the commander of the first district now. He handled that protest so perfectly, and just it was peaceful, and they came together. And the picture of him shaking the hands with one of the protesters, it was like,
Yep.
it was calming, it was peaceful, and it was, those people have an absolute right as Americans to do that, and that's welcome. That's why we have our freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nice to see that where it didn't turn ugly, because our blood is all red. We all bleed the same. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. We all bleed the same.
Mm-hmm.
But so Sean, let's transition from you came here, 93, you moved to Cleveland, you became the Irish barber, and your shop was originally where the pub is now, and then you bought the old mower shop next door.
Well, actually, I worked in Fairview Park next to the
oh, that's right.
Oliver drugstore, and then I was there right before Jimmy Stamper opened up.
Before Jimmy Stamper's place. Yeah, I forgot about that.
From 96 to January of 2002. And then I went down to the corner of where I'm at right now, and I bought that building. But at the same time, I was co-owner of Parnell's in Cleveland Heights.
Right.
We bought that in 98. And so I was doing both. So I bought the building in Rocky River, opened up the barber shop there, and things were going good. And in 2004, I sold the bar to Declan. And then that's when I bought the building next door. And then I rented it out to the Moore shop and all the different that were in there.
Right. So he was our very first guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great guy,
Yeah, Jason. Yeah. So yeah, he came to me. He was working at a country club. He was 18 years old and wanted to do his own thing. And I understood what that was about. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So all his first customers were customers from the barbershop. So he helped me by renting the space, and I helped him by getting him customers, and he's turned into a great business in Fairview. So but that's how it worked. But yeah, so thankfully we've been down in that corner now 18 years, and the building that the shop was in is now Gormley's pub, and the barbershop is next door now where the lawnmower shop was years ago, and it's turned into something special there. It's really taken on a whole atmosphere of its own.
Yeah. Well, for anyone who has never been to Gormley's, it's worth the trip. It's right there, just west of Worcester on Center Ridge Road. It's a great little Irish pub. You walk in, it's an authentic Irish pub. It's so friendly and so welcoming and so set up for just entertainment for when we're after COVID or pre-COVID days. You could sit at a table and have an intimate little conversation, or sit by the bar table, or sit at the bar. And it's just a very friendly, welcoming, well-decorated place. Hats off to you. You did a beautiful job there.
And a fine pint of Guinness, I might add. I've had one or two.
Yeah, just
at a time. At a time.
Yeah, just as I stopped in today to say hi. Yeah.
No, it turned out really well, and not knowing how it was going to do it. That's the great thing about being over here, is you have an idea, and if you apply yourself and take the chance and the risk,
it's a huge risk. A lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, you just got to get up of your arse and do it.
Right.
And of course, there's a lot of risk, and you're going to get bumps along the way. But thankfully, we've been open now 3 years at the pub, in March there, and it's been going great. Again, like the barbershop, it's all our great customers. I mean, you can build anything, but it's the customers that make it.
You're absolutely correct.
And I styled it after like a a little small pub like you would have it back home, and that's what people really enjoy. Is truly like the atmosphere of walking into a little pub back in Ireland and then being able to replicate that here in Rocky River. Made all the difference, and people really took to it. So it's good to see, something that was in your head for all those years and people coming in and really enjoying it and understanding it. And it's good to see people smiles on their faces, and like I said, get a good pint as well.
So as a pub owner, give us a good story, because you know yourself in the business. We all got great stories. Give us a good Gormley's pub story.
One that I'm not involved in.
Yeah, one where Mark didn't get arrested.
Not this time.
You know what?
Whoa.
Oh,
Wait,
hold on.
there we go.
This is Sean's first Zoom call, by the way.
We there's really not too crazy stories, just some great sessions. As far as coming, we get some great music. Probably one of my favorite stories is growing up and being a huge fan of the Wolf Tones.
Oh, love the Wolf Tones.
And as you're looking out our window, the Brits would always be out patrolling, and their patrols. And I remember this one Sunday afternoon, going upstairs and putting on my records. It was the 25-year anniversary record or whatever. I go in my room and I open up the windows, put the speaker to the window as the Brits are out patrolling. And it really meant a lot to me. And I always thought about those years and listened to the records and what it meant. So fast forward all these years later, you had Derek Warfield and the Young Wolf Tones playing in Berea. So I went out to there, and Alec from Bardicorn said, "Hey, we're getting some of the lads together on the Sunday night after the festival. We're all coming to your pub." I'm like, "Oh, that'd be great." So sure enough, like around midnight, 12:30, and all the musicians roll in from all these different bands, get all their instruments in, the pints are flowing, and it was really exciting because I'd only been open like a year and a half, and here they all come in. But then what for me was special was in walks Derek Warfield.
Oh, yeah, cool!
Legend. Yeah.
Here's a pub that I made up and put the things together, put my own touch to it, and here he is. Derek Warfield comes in.
Graces your doorstep.
Yeah, so he comes over and he said, "I love it." He goes, "I love the feeling of this place already." And he went over and stood by the mural, and all the artists sat around, listened to him tell his stories, and he sang a few songs. And I actually got to videotape it. But we were singing there till about 4:30 in the morning. And it was just
the bar was closed by that time. There was no alcohol being served, of course, right?
That was it. We had
orange juice. Yeah,
biscuits.
I can relate to, back when I had Sheehan's Pub. We were at the festival, O'Brien's festival, and Paul Baker had invited us back to the hotel, on Sunday night after the festival was over. I think it ends at 9:00. So we're in the pub at the hotel, and we're there for like 45 minutes, and all of a sudden they said, "We're closing up." I'm like, what the hell? Everybody wanted to party. It was Sunday night. So I told O'Brien, I said, "Well, come on, we'll open a bar," because my bar was closed on Sundays at the time, because I had a little infraction on Sunday liquor at the time, so I closed on Sundays. So we went down there, and on the way there, I remember Sheila saying, she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe all these people are coming to the bar." But we went in, and it was fantastic. The Kilfenora Cayley band, Rory Makem, Patty Riley, Tom Sweeney. I mean, there was just so many guys there. And Peggy and her sister bartended then, Peggy from Bridges Cross, because we were close. So we went in, and which is, okay, no cash in the bar. Open the doors. Thank you. This is for all the musicians. We left there when the sun come up, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the best memories I've ever had. So I can relate to your story. It's when you get guys like that and they come in and they're just playing for the fun of music, guys that will never, you couldn't pay them enough money to be on the same stage together. But
Yeah.
they're singing for the enjoyment and what they love to do and what they do for a living. You know what they wanted to sing? Show tunes. But I heard Patty Riley, Tom Sweeney do the best rendition of Edelweiss I have ever heard in my life. And I will remember that day till I die. It was fantastic. So I can relate. That's cool stuff right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, just a quick trip back home real quick. I don't know if you remember Kevin McHugh from Top of the Hill, God in the Scale. Kev, he's probably a year or two below you. And he lived there right across from the mobile shop there on Sherbannold Road.
Yeah.
And he just sent a message there. He's just our audience. Kevin alluded. Kevin, he's watching the show on his way to work in Bangkok.
Wow.
And,
In Bangkok?
Bangkok. He just sent a message there. So Kevin and I would have played football together at Trench Road and Top of the Hill Celtic, and it's just great to see a Gormley, as we're called, on the water side. And he just sent the message there. So I thought, since we have him on live, to say a quick hello there. And he
Great.
Sean,
Yeah.
God, there you go. I guarantee, Sean, you know who he is when if you thought about it. So sorry,
Right.
just a little interruption there. Just it's always a lot of people listening actually, which is great.
That's very cool. I mean,
so-
we got somebody listening in Bangkok live. I mean,
And Kev's doing very well for himself out there. Got a beautiful family. So Kev, thanks for listening in, and everyone else as well, obviously. So I thought that was pretty cool, given the Derry angle tonight. So
yeah,
Very good.
yeah,
Cool.
I'm outnumbered here with the Derry boys.
yeah, that's all right. It's better. I'd rather have the Derry girls, but that's all right. You're stuck with us tonight. So
Well, you could be the gay lad from London.
I knew that would come up. Have you watched Derry Girls, Sean?
I have. It's absolutely dead on.
Isn't it
Oh
good?
my God, that show is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a great show. Hopefully they'll get another show back there, so another series back here soon. So it's,
Yeah. They told it brilliantly as far as growing up in the early '90s here, going out in the high school. The whole mentality was just
sneaking across the border and stuff, and going for ice cream, and
no, it was
I
definitely
can't
very well done. So
tell me this, Sean. What do you miss most about Derry?
the sausage suppers.
Explain what a sausage supper is to those in the audience that don't know.
Getting a good Doherty sausage and going to the chippy.
Yeah.
And dipping it in the batter and just deep frying it to a golden brown and a great bag of chips. There was just something special about coming out of Squires.
So that was it's like a battered banger then.
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah. A battered sausage, yeah.
yeah. Just from a night out with your friends.
Squires, oh my God.
Coming out there or going to Wheelers.
Yeah, getting a big wheel and a milkshake.
So there's just something special about those little things. And down at Hennessy's, down the Strand Road, and there was always the chippy across the street. Just little things like that. So when I was home 2 years ago, and my brother on the last day said, "Hey, I'm going to go take you to get a good sausage supper." I can't remember the name of the place. It wasn't from Top of the Hill, but
Wasn't Kira's, no?
no, it was over by I don't know, near Abercorn Road or somewhere. There's some not too far. Anyway, but yeah, but that's the things you like, just the treats and the snacks and
The small things in life, right?
yeah.
Get a 99er while you were home.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't, but you can always go to Casey's and get a flake and stick it on a soft serve. There you go.
Right.
It's funny, I have a bag of flakes here in the fridge beside me, so I'll have to get you one this weekend, Jimmy.
Okay.
I'll give you a poke this weekend.
Okay.
But it's even funny, you mentioned chippies there, Sean. I remember back to, you might remember this, you mentioned Kira's Chippy. And for Kira's Chippy, for those who don't know, Kira Moore was a friend of ours in Derry. She still has the chip shop on Top of the Hill. And I remember Kira and Mark were getting married. I don't know what year it was, Sean. It was like 99, 2000 maybe? Was their wedding? It was late 90s?
I think it was 97 or 98.
Yeah, and Kira was my neighbor. She lives across the street. I remember her saying the whole story was the best man is flying back from America for the wedding. It's a big, big deal. and you know, I don't think we had met then.
No.
And so I'm at this wedding as a friend of the family, neighbors and stuff. And sure enough, the surprise guest from America, the prodigal son's returning. It was the best man was Sean.
Oh, that's how you guys met?
Well, we met that night. I think we drank that night. We never really clicked. I think that night we didn't really I wasn't in Cleveland yet. And then it wasn't until I was at John Carroll, I think, and I went in there. It was on a Monday night one night, and Sean, we got talking in Parnell's, and we put the two and two together. Sean was telling me the story. Oh, I flew home for Kira's wedding. And I'm like, you're the freaking best man that flew home from America, aren't you? He goes, yeah. Like, I was at the wedding.
That's awesome.
Just like a small world, Kira literally lived across the street, and Kieran, her brother, him and I were best friends, and we all grew up together, and just such a small world, and here we are now in Cleveland, and I worked at Parnell's a bit when I was at John Carroll and stuff, and Sean was kind enough to give me a few hours there rather than drink the beer. I may as well sell the beer. So, or do both.
Worked out from there, and then I think one other year I went back for something else, and
this lottery tickets thing.
We met out at the Strand Bar.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years later. So that's before you actually immigrated to come back over, but
yeah, that's when you bought the fake lottery tickets from Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah.
And your brother scratched it and dropped it on the floor, I think, and hid it from everyone as we watched them. And then
still denies it to this day. Yeah.
Oh,
such a clown.
That was funny. Like, oh, I have a winner. I'm like, okay, let me see. How many dollars did you win? Or no, you had to claim your prize from the North Pole. It said on the back of the ticket.
Yeah.
That's good. No, there's obviously many things you missed from Derry,
So what do you got coming up at the pub here in the near future? I mean, I know with the social distancing and everything, how's that working out for you? I know you have an outdoor patio too, so.
Yeah, well, we've got a deck on the side, and we got another one upstairs that people can hang out on. But with the 25% capacity at the pub, it's kind of hard to justify paying a band to come in to play for 15 to 20 people. I mean, but hopefully that they start lifting the rest of the restrictions soon. But we're going to look to see if they're going to relax the laws as far as being able to go out onto the parking lot. I know they're doing it in Cleveland.
Right. Lakewood, they're doing it. Lakewood as well.
So I'm going to see if this is something that's if it's up to the city, or is it the state liquor board? But if that's something we can do, then why not have like a parking lot party? Have the music outside and people outside
type thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
right, well, you can still keep the social distancing. Yeah,
yeah.
And possibly make a profit, because that's what you're doing it for.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have lost so much money or so much revenue as it is this last few months. I mean, I think cities are going to be lenient in terms of giving you opportunities to try and earn some of that back, I guess, hopefully.
Well, that's because we're not a restaurant, you can't really make it back on your kitchen. Yeah. You're purely just trying to do it as far as and your sales. So, yeah.
What do you mean you're not a restaurant? I had Taytos last time I was in your place.
That's right.
What more do you need? If you got Taytos,
what more you need? You need 2 pieces of bread and some butter and stick it in the middle.
Yeah, Taytos are awesome, man.
Crisp sandwich. Can't beat it. So what's the top selling Tayto in there, Sean?
Actually, it was the smoky bacon.
Really?
My wife's been in again. Okay. All right.
My favorite is cheese and onion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the salt and vinegar are huge. But, yeah, the smoky bacon one was very popular. But we haven't been able to get it in a while. So hopefully we can start getting some more orders coming over. Casey's always does a great job of getting everything we need. So
I was just thinking, like, you're 2 doors down from Casey's. How are they faring now? Because they just recently opened back up again.
Yeah, I think I have popped in once since they did, and I think like everybody else, they're just glad to have people back in the store. Right. They were doing a lot of curbside, but they've always have such wonderful service, and Maureen and the girls are always go above and beyond if anybody needs anything there. So, and I know they're getting the great same support as we do at the pub and the barber shop. So,
good. I'm glad to see
I hope they're doing well.
coming together and supporting, the local establishments too. And a lot of people, I know
Yeah.
myself, I would go to a private establishment rather than a chain establishment, just to support the local entrepreneurs. Because being in that position once, I realized how hard it is. And thank God I never had to live through what you guys just did. Hats off to you, brother, that you're still there. I mean, it's tough.
Well, again, it's all down to the support of our patrons and the community, and they've been immense. They've been very supportive, and hats off to everybody. And hopefully, there's a lot of people listening that it comes into the pub and that have been supporting it, and the barbershop too. So, it's like having a football match with no fans. It's the fans,
Right?
Fans that makes it.
Yeah. The people make the pub. I've always said that.
Yeah.
And even Sean too, I would even go so far as to some of your suppliers, right? The likes of Sullivan's, right? I mean, they've been in this struggle as well. I'm sure the last few months of obviously sales, I'm sure, are down for them. I was up there today and I saw Bridget, who's the local brand ambassador for Sullivan's, which is probably a newer beer, right, out of Kilkenny in Ireland. That kind of came here a year or two ago now. That's been out here. Is that right? Right?
Yeah, they've just really started to hit the market around East Ohio in the last year and a half, and it's actually an old recipe from the Smithwick's family back home, and the brewer worked for Guinness, and he's the original Smithwick's brewer. He worked for them for 18 years, and this is his mixture and recipe along with Smithwick's family. But it's really taken off. It's very popular. It's a great beer.
Yeah.
So, and like I say, Bridget, they've been very, very supportive. They always take care of the Irish pubs.
A great story about Bridget. I met her, I think it was yourself or Joe introduced me to Bridget. We were doing some Irish Network events coming up, and she hosted, give out some free samples to our attendees and stuff. And she joked the one night saying, hey, if you're ever in Kilkenny, I would like a tour of the brewery, I'll arrange it for you. And I thought back in January, whatever, I'll never be on Kilkenny, but I'll be nice and say yes. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, our company retreat for Relay Care was supposed to be in Dublin, and we got an email saying retreat has been moved to Kilkenny. So right away, I emailed Bridget up. I'm like, hey, remember you said I can get a tour of the brewery if I'm ever in Kilkenny? Sure enough, she connected us with the Smithwicks, Alan Smithwick and Dan Smithwick, I think it was. Our entire Relay Care team that was there for the retreat, there was 20 out of us. They hosted a private event for us in the brewery because of our Cleveland connection, the Gormley's connection, and put on a band for us. Local musicians played privately for us. It was all because of Bridget's relationship with Gormley's. It was just, I just joined this company too, and for us to go over there, and here we are at a private brewery, private tour, private samples, and we had a few of those. And it is a great beer. And
You've never been shy of sampling, Mark.
No, I mean, I hate to turn down a sample. It would be very rude, When you get to the 10th or 11th sample, I mean,
you just start feeling good, and then when you get to the 40th or 50th sample, then you're starting to really roll.
Yeah, but it is a great beer, and it's great to hear you said they're doing well. That it's taken off in the pub, yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten a great response, and once people still like Smithwick's and they still like Sullivan's. So when they have one or each or a couple of each, and it still doesn't take away from Guinness and all or Harp or any of our other products. But it's become very popular, and especially when we're doing the growlers, the large glass containers we would fill up for beer to go. Sullivan's was quite popular, and Bridget helped with getting us some growlers as well.
Very good.
Putting the Sullivan's logo on them. And
speaking of Guinness, there's been a few times where you guys have basically in the state of Ohio they track top sales of Guinness or top buyers of Guinness, and you guys have always been.
It just goes as far as volume. The most Guinness that we buy or sell, and we've been very fortunate for the pub being such. It's a fraction of the size of other bars around Cleveland and and Columbus, or
Cincinnati,
even Dayton.
Yeah, or Dayton. Yeah, Burns Pub. And
we had for about 3-4 months we were the number one in Ohio, And then coming up to Fido and Columbus, and then the Dublin pub and Dayton. So between 1 and 3, we've been bouncing back the last year and a half of top Guinness sales in Ohio.
For those that don't know, the size of Gormley's compared to like a Fido's in Dublin.
Right.
I mean,
you can put 5 Fidos in a Gormley's.
5 Gormley's and Fido's, yeah, and to be have that many sales compared to what the size they have, it's impressive.
Now,
it's a destination. People come in and they're not trying all these different IPAs or they come in and they want their pints. And no, that's all Guinness products. That's Guinness, Smithwick's, Harp, Guinness Blonde. So, but
now can you attribute any of these months to times where Mark's back home and he's not on Catawba? He's coming in. Do you think Mark might push?
It might have went up a little bit, but
jeez, I like the water in there.
Yeah, no, but so we've been very fortunate to get the recognition, and again, being only open for 3 years.
It's amazing.
Good for you.
And to have the North American Guinness rep wanting to make his last stop at Gormley's because he wants to come in, sit and talk and have a few pints. And, the Ohio rep, Tim Tate, has become a good friend of mine. He's actually coming in tomorrow. But it's just turned into something. And again, pub's been only open for 3 years. I just really put it together a handful of years ago, and really turning into something special. And to have that recognition from Guinness, and we do get great support from Guinness, and it's great.
The other thing is too, having great Guinness is one thing, being able to pour a good pint of Guinness is another thing. And everyone you have working there, you have a great team. I mean, in the bar behind there's always great service, always a great pint. So that goes, it's not just.
Yeah, well, Joe is very particular how he pours his pint. He's, it has to be done right, and we got a system together that keeps it to the right temperature, and the line is pretty short. It's and we keep our lines clean every 2 weeks or less, and so it's all those factors in, and doing a great pour, and Maria and Kate.
Maria's phenomenal. She's great.
Yeah, for an Italian, she's wonderful.
Hey, well, not Terry really said that. So
she's definitely become a big part of the pub, and people really look forward to seeing her. And but pouring a good pint, it's a process, and people.
It's a science.
Yeah, well, and people appreciate that we take our time, and we're not pouring a Bud Light. So
yeah, I love the fact, like, even in your newsletter, you mentioned Maria there. You even say in your newsletter a lot of the time, come up and see Sean, Joe, and Maria. So she really is part of Gormley's. When people go up there, everyone knows her. And I didn't know she was Italian. I have to remember that next time I'm in. So
yeah, just tell her forget about it.
when she says $5.50 for a pint, you say forget about it. Okay, all right. Sean said to say it, so it's all good. I haven't
put this on his tab.
Yeah, that's great. So it's hopefully things, as you say, Sean, that the governor obviously hopefully makes some changes here soon. I think people are being sensible for the most part. Are people behaving themselves in there in terms of the distancing and sitting down to chair and stuff?
Again, I mean, everybody is very conscious of each other and the staff and the rules, and we've never had one bit of bother in Gormley's at all, ever. Yeah. Not even raised voice or anything else. So I mean, we've got great customers, so they are being very respectful, very supportive, and they don't want to see any problems. So everybody's following the rules, and but hopefully, everything is deemed safe enough here soon to where we can at least get back to 50 or higher occupancy. And
yeah, fingers crossed.
I can't wait for the next time you can have a session in there. And Mark and I, we hooked up over the winter pre-COVID, and we went there for a Sunday. Was it a Sunday session?
Yeah, we went there, and that was our real first, when we started talking about the podcast, that was the first time we really sat down and kind of, Sean, I think, was even there that night, and offered that to be the kind of home of our podcast, or once we get through this period. But yeah, I mean, it's a great convenience spot just for people coming from all over. And you always, you see people in there that aren't just from Rocky River or West Park. There's people who travel from the east side to go there, and which we don't mind. We'll take their money too, right, on the west side.
That's when you know you're making a name for yourself. When you got people traveling from across town to come to your pub because they love it.
Yeah.
Good for you. That means a lot.
No, yeah, Francis Quinn and Pat really put on a tremendous session.
Unbelievable.
We started it off and we had, 2, 3, 4 people show up. The last so many ones we did, we had people even coming out from Oberlin, teachers.
Nice.
We have 16 to 18 artists all chiming in, taking turns. And it is mighty. Even on our videos on Gormley's Facebook page, there's quite a few videos there of past sessions that people ever want to go take a look. It is, again, to have that feeling. It's exactly like being back home. Just having everybody tapping the floor and really getting into the music. And again, that's the whole part of being an Irish pub. That's what you want to hear is a good trad session.
Yeah,
Right.
Francis and Pat Custy could be two better men to lead a session.
Right. And Nikki and then Brendan, and, the whole crew there. They're just great people, great musicians.
So when you do get music back, Sean, are there any plans for any particular bands you can't wait to get back in there, or just a?
Well, obviously the new Barleycorn.
Yeah. John Delaney's listening as we speak. And
Johnny Boy.
Hi, John.
I got to call him.
He's new to Facebook. I think he's only been on Facebook 2 or 3 weeks, from what I know.
I just friended him a couple weeks ago.
So.
No, but between Barleycorn and all our local acts, we get a lot of great musicians around. Chris Allen and there's so many great artists that come in that bring in their own unique style of music and crowd. So looking forward to getting everybody in there again with the sax. And,
Andy McManus, I don't know if you had him play. He's great.
Andy plays, and absolutely Michael Crawley and Brent and everybody. So
I got them all. Yeah, there's enough for everybody. So.
No, yeah, definitely forward to getting some tunes going again.
Yeah, once that get going, maybe we'll get a podcast or 2 up there as well, and do live from the bar once we have social distancing approved or all that kind of stuff. We can get back in there, back to normal somewhat. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we did buy some really nice recording equipment for podcasts. We haven't been able to use it because of all this, so we didn't want to wait. So we just said, let's go Facebook Live and Zoom, and that's what we've been doing, trying to adjust, And then we got some great people like yourself and a lot of other pub owners around town. I can't wait till we can actually sit down with some real musicians and, not that, hearing your guys' stories is great. I love them. But I also want to get more into music, and to be able to do like a live session from your place would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Look forward to that day.
Yeah. I've had some customers come in and do their own recordings, and, I try and show much of it on Facebook Live as I can, but it's kind of hard to show that live and the pour pints. So if we had a dedicated line to where we could stream it live as we went, it'd be great. So people from all over could join in and watch it from anywhere in the world. It would be great.
That would be awesome.
We can certainly look into that too and see what way we can do maybe like a live podcast, live show.
Yeah, maybe we can reach further to Bangkok then.
Yeah,
that's pretty freaking far. So
it is pretty far.
I mean, that's
well, actually, what I'd like to do, Mark, is I want to reach out to John from Patter O'Donnell's. I want to make Patter's our sister bar.
Oh yeah, very good.
And so that way we could have a live stream of Gormley's. People in Patters would be able to see Gormley's, and we'd be able to see Patters. And
is that back home in Derry?
Yeah.
Yeah, and talk about session bar. They have sessions every night in there, Jimmy. It's a real trad bar. Great pints, great crack. I mean, it's a tourist destination, but it's a tourist destination that locals all drink as well. So it's the one bar I send. In fact, Jerry Quinn took a tour over to Derry a few years ago. My mom and dad took him and a few others two patters that night for a session, and Jerry was blown away by it. So
Yeah. Well, let's hope, because Gormley's Pub, hopefully it's still on. It hasn't been canceled yet. We're doing our first tour, Gormley's Pub tour of Ireland in October.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, tell us about that. What's that all about?
So something we've been working on for over a year with Pat Hollywood, the Travel Connection in Aurora.
The Donegal woman.
Yeah, and what it is, we always wanted to do some type of little tour to go over. So we put our heads together, and what we would do is fly into Dublin, hit a few pubs in Dublin that night, travel off to Belfast, we'll do some tours. We're going to hit all the touristy spots. Again, find a couple of good pubs there, and then go up to Derry, spend a night and go to Patters and do the walls, do the tours, the Bogside, meet up with family. And then we're going to go up to Donegal town. And then, again, what the difference is that is we could have a lot of family and friends meet us all out. It's definitely going to add more of a personal touch to the tour. And go back down to Donegal, back down to Dublin. So it's about a 7-8 day trip. So we're just kind of hoping that we can hold it together and we can still do it in October. It just all depends on the restrictions on flying over and the accommodations. So, but everybody keep an eye on that on Gormley's website. And
so what is the website?
Well, you probably more go to Gormley's Facebook.
Okay. And just Google this, Gormley's Irish Pub, Rocky River. They'll find it. Okay.
Yeah.
And as of now, that tour is still on, right? There's still spaces available if people are interested.
Yes, and it's very affordable. Again, it's just we're trying to figure out prices for flights if we're able to go with the flights.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, because everything else that's been canceled, all the vacations, it might be that one last trip that somebody could get away on. That's not canceled. So between vacations and everything.
Yeah, and I saw they just canceled the Notre Dame Navy game that was due to be in Dublin Labor Day weekend got moved back to the U.S. this week. So
yeah,
that's late August kind of thing. So you still got October, you still got a bit of time. Hopefully things by then are. Yeah,
because now how is it in the north? Do you still have the 2-week quarantine if you come over?
Yeah, same thing. UK and Ireland's the same thing. So
okay,
it's all the quarantines everywhere. So it is what it is.
That would kind of suck if you're going on a pub tour and you got a quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's not going to work. So, well, being stuck for 2 weeks in a pub wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, ask Matt Damon.
Hey, do you see that stuff? He was he was in Ireland for 2 months.
Yeah,
really.
And, walking around with a bag of cans from Super Value.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll never forget that.
Yeah, he did an interview with a local radio station a few weeks ago. Just finally broke down and gave them access, and he loved it there. It's just funny how the other half lives. He's there with his wife and kids, and both kids had their tutors with them as well. Not just one tutor for the kids. Each kid had their tutor with them to help them with the schoolwork during the lockdown. So it's but you can be stuck in a better place in Ireland for a lockdown. So he made the most of it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So yeah, I'm sure there'll be stories or books written about it or T-shirts made about it at some point. So anyhow, so that's good. Well, listen, I think that's we're coming to the end of this. Actually, this has been great, and I know Sean, you've got a lot of good things coming up, and hopefully we can get the word out once we hear, some of the restrictions have been lifted and your tour and all that good stuff, and we'll definitely get to Jimmy's point, get a live show in there at some point, a couple of live shows during the session nights.
Right. If you got anything coming up, just you know how to get a hold of us. We will gladly promote anything you got coming up.
No, I appreciate that. It's always good, another avenue to get the word out and whatever way we can. We appreciate all the support.
Yep.
And so, again, whatever we can do here at Gormley's and the barbershop too. So thank you for all you guys do, and look forward to many more shows.
So do I. Thank you, brother. I can't wait till we can finally raise a jar together face to face,
A jar? Okay.
Well, you know me, Mark. I'm a teetotaler.
I'll just use the same jar the whole time, I guess. So, anyhow, this is good, Sean. We'll be back again next Thursday. We'll have a new guest next Thursday at 7 o'clock. And again, as Sean mentioned, find Gormley's on Facebook. Just go on the Facebook, Gormley's Irish Pub, Rocky River. And also the Irish Barbers on there as well. They have their own Facebook page. And then links to the website to make online bookings, I believe.
Yep, at theirishbarber.com.
There we go. So we'll, we thank you for your time. It's been great talking, great reminiscing about some of the Derry stuff and things. And
Up Derry.
yeah, and great to see everyone
John.
tuned in tonight as well. Thanks for listening as well and watching.
Thank you for your time. That was awesome. And
Always
remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Sign up for our email alerts about our podcast. If there's something you want to discuss, any topic or place where you think we should broadcast from in the future, please drop us a line. We're more than willing to embarrass ourselves in front of anyone. So.
Did you say we work for beer? Is that what you? Sorry, I misheard.
Oh, we'll bring our own beer.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you,
Guys, have a good night. Take care.
Take care.
Cheerio. Bye.
Big love,
Bye.
people.